Right edition, welcome, happy day. Hey, we call it junk mail. The post office calls it unaddressed ad mail. That's cool verbiage, kind of like that. I'm going to use that from now on. Sounds cleaner and better, doesn't it? In Canada, the man there that's running to be Prime Minister one day, and he could be, and I hope not, would wreck the country kind of like his father did. I'm digressing. Trudeau is his name. And he recently has said, hey, I smoked pot while I was an elected member of Parliament. Who cares? A lot of people care, Justin, because you broke the law and you're telling everybody that you did. It doesn't matter if you think it's right or wrong, or if anybody agrees with you or not. Smoking pot. Go ahead, smoke pot. You know what? You're on the government payroll, and it's a law that you broke, and you can't even now get admitted into the United States of America. Your passport won't be stamped. They'll put you in jail, or better yet, send you home. I say better yet for you, maybe, but in any event, you can't go and act like that. And here's a guy that wants to be Prime Minister. Here's one lawyer's quote, I can't believe that I couldn't believe it, rather, when I saw him admit to it. What kind of a guy is this? Do you not have a mind? You got to kind of know a little bit about the law if you're a lawmaker. And if you're an elected member of Parliament, guess what? You're a lawmaker. In particular, when you're the leader of the, I guess not opposition anymore, but soon to be, maybe, but the Liberal people. You're in charge? Boy, that's a frightening statement, isn't it? Victory is his. A cyclist stole back his stolen bike. I think that's poor verbiage to say that he stole what was his. In any event, he left the thief a cardboard cutout and a mocking note. Dear bike thief. He went to a lot of work. He should have just had him arrested. But in any event, the bicycle was in Toronto, Canada, and it was locked up, and the guy recognized his bike. He cut the lock, took his bike away, and replaced it with a cardboard thingamadoo. Kind of reminds me of several years ago on Vancouver Island in Canada. My son had his bicycle stolen, and he was walking by the Empress Hotel, and a guy was sitting there on a bike, and of course it was my son's bike. And he went up to him and said, how dare you, that's my bicycle. And he grabbed for it with one hand and grabbed for him with the other hand. And the guy fled the scene. He dropped the bicycle and ran away. He was kind of a little, pothead guy. He looked a little dopey, apparently. In any event, my boy got his bike back. Here's a guy in Minnesota. He's 72 years old. She's 72 years old. Her husband, Bob, was 85. And a fellow was trying to break through the door to get into their home. Home invasion coming. And the woman said, hey, I heard the door coming open, and the only way I can defend myself is with a great equalizer, and I have a gun. I took the gun out, and I didn't mean to shoot anybody, but whatever's necessary to stop somebody from doing something that they shouldn't be doing in my home, I will do. So she shot him. Good for her. Here's another story about guns. This person is Jessica Grayson. She was driving behind a pickup truck just the other day, and the truck suddenly stopped, blocked her lane, jumped out, and tried to get into her car. She locked the door. She pulled out a Colt 357, pointed the gun at him, and said, step away, or I will shoot. And he not only stepped away, he ran away, got into his vehicle, and fled the scene. And she says, if I didn't have my gun, would have had a different outcome. And of course, she's right, and that would have been the case. Wisconsin, the government there is like all governments everywhere. I think there's kind of no dots connecting. Sometimes they're not that bright. But here's the story. A sex offender required by law to be monitored and driven to activities. Now, I could really digress and say, why is he in a bus? He should be in a coffin. But hey, back to this. He gets on a bus. And the bus service, every time he gets on the bus, gets paid $30.87 an hour to transport him around. That same bus, with the same driver, is contracted with the same people almost in the State Department of Health to do the same thing for people who aren't sex offenders, and they get $69.89 an hour. Oh boy, where's the logic in that? So a sex offender, I think, is a little worse than the other guys, right? Because they're bad people and they get paid half of that. I don't know something's not right with that, but again, that would be left, wouldn't it? Now, who knew this? From one of your longest lasting relationships in life is a human relationship I'm talking about, is a sibling, because they're always with you all of your life. for the most part, right? Whereas your parents die of old age and dogs and cats and other things die. And the sibling relationship is the longest lasting close human relationship in existence, literally beginning at birth and lasting until death. Our sibling relationships are already well formed by the time we develop friendships or take on life partners. And our siblings are typically still with us long after our parents have died. And I've already said that, a little repetition, but just kind of an interesting thing. Y'all knew that anyway, didn't you? My brothers and me, I've already told you this in the past. We're the Wright brothers. Hey, because politically I'm talking about right. A federal judge recently described Obama's administration that supports or claims rather that corporations use background checks to target blacks as worthless is a theory that is unproven. And how dare you? This Obama, he has set race relations back 100 years. All he talks about is that white people are terrible. Come on already. I think most people are colorblind, right? Except for him and a whole bunch of people like him. All they do is go on and on about how badly they're treated and white people are awful. It's not a good color, this white business anymore. Son of a gun. Black mob violence, so, is going on, and the press never reports that. That's kind of interesting. The murder recently of a man in Oklahoma, an Australian man who was there, wasn't unique or even rare. What was interesting, though, and common, is it was hardly reported by mainstream press because he was white and the people who killed him were black. When a white guy kills a black guy, it gets front page news all the time for a long, long time. But every day we read about black caucuses, black colleges, black labor unions, black doctors, black lawyers, black business owners, and black TV stars, and so on. And then we hear about racial violence. What's going on? I mean, try getting a Miss White America beauty contest going on, and you got some troubles, and yet they're doing it with other colors. And the white people, we're not prejudiced. Get over all this. How come this is written about all of the time? I don't get it. Hey, let me end today with something lighter. You with me? Here we go. My doctor told me to start killing people. Well, not those exact words. He said I had to reduce the stress in my life. Same thing, really. Welcome back to what we're going to work for you from the right. See ya.